Hello everybody. Now in today's video we will see the very interesting proximity node in Blender. Now we don't have to delete the default cube this time. We can spare it and let's move it at the top and let's add a plane. Now let's go to geometry nodes and let's expand this section so that we have some more space and let's click on new. Now we will add a grid because we want some more points and we do want some control. So let's make the size as 5 cross 5 and let's make the vertices as 50 cross 50. We won't know what happened, but what we can do is we can add an instance on points, and in every instance we can add an ecosphere. So we have lots of ecospheres. So what we can do is we can reduce the radius to 0.02. And this is what we have, a plane of many ecospheres. Now, what does the proximity node do? That is what we need to see now. So the proximity node will basically, um, so let's consider we have a cube, we do have a cube, and let's make it smaller, something like this, and let's keep it here. So the different ecospheres in our plane, depending on the distance with our cube, will behave differently. And that is what the proximity node does. And that is what we mean by proximity also. So how close it is. So proximity. Yeah. And we have a geometry here. And in place of the geometry, I will add my cube. And now there is something called a distance. So the proximity node will basically calculate the distance from our cube to our instance. So if we plug the distance to our scale, so what this will do is basically it will calculate the distance from that particular point and it will behave differently depending on the distance. So if I just plug it, you will see. So we have some difference. So some of these points are bigger, some are smaller, some look this way, that way, whatever. Now, how this is working, and we are changing the position of the cube also. It doesn't seem to change, but it should change. The reason it is not changing is because we have made the object info as original, which means it will only take the points uh, at the start. It is not taking care of the position, like the new position of the cube. So we can just make it relative, and we see some changes already. And now if I change the position of the cube, um, our points, basically the scale of our points will change accordingly. And that is what it is doing. So for example, if I just bring it to the top, you can see that our cubes, like our ecospheres are getting bigger and bigger. So if I just move it, so wherever our cube is, the ecospheres are smaller, and wherever it is not, the ecosphere is bigger. However, how can we add some control to it is what we need to see now, because everything it is doing randomly. It is not random, but we don't have any control. Now to have some control in it, we have two nodes that we can use. One is the map range node, and this kind of nodes can often be confusing, but yeah, I will try to explain you simply. One is the map range and another one is the color ramp. Now this both of these nodes work very similarly. Um, so let's use the map range node first, and we will plug it here. And now we have some controls from maximum to minimum to maximum. Now to explain you in simple words, if I change the from minimum, you can see that we are basically controlling that how small our cubes will be, depending on the proximity. And if I change the maximum, um, we are basically controlling how big our like ecosphere should be. Uh, so now, if I change the from minimum to a large value, we can see that the cubes, like the ecospheres very close to the cube, are vanishing. And if I change the maximum value, if I make it bigger, the same thing is happening. If I make it smaller, if it goes negative, it will be a different story. Not negative, if the maximum is becoming smaller than the minimum, then it is a different story. It is kind of like these two handles of our color ramp. So if I just bring our color amp here and let's plug it like this. So if I bring the black one here, and if I move the white one here, the map range is basically giving the same kind of effect with the from, and the two will basically be same as changing the color. So for example, this is pure white. We cannot change the color directly, but what we can do is we can make the value from 1 to 3, and the key spheres will become bigger. So if I use the map range again, so let's close it and let's add the map range once again. So whatever we have, if I change this max value, all the ecospheres will become bigger. So in other words, we can say that the from is basically controlling the distance, whereas the 2 is basically controlling the size. In simple words, this is something that we can say. If I increase the 2 min and if I bring it down, it will not disappear completely. It has to be 0. Only then it will completely disappear. So if I just make it down, it will completely disappear. So I hope it is clear now. So with the 2, you can control the size, and the 2 min also. 2 min will basically control the minimum size, 2 max will control the maximum size, and the from will control the distance. So what is the distance we want to affect? So now if I come to our layout section, um, we kind of have an idea how it is working. Now, instead of an ecosphere, it can be anything else also. I mean, we already know it. Let's add a monkey. Monkey. Let's keep it somewhere at the top. And let's go to geometry nodes again. Let's bring our Suzanne and let's plug the geometry. Um, oh, no, not this one. This is for the cube. We have to plug it in our instance. Yeah. Now we have lots of monkeys. Um, I think it is too big. We have to make it smaller. So what we can do is we can adjust with this. So let's make it 0 and let's bring it down to something like this. And now we have lots of monkeys again. Maybe we can bring it down. We can make it even smaller, something like 0.05. Yeah. So now the size of our monkeys will change depending on the distance of our cube. Yeah. So that is all about the proximity node. It has a lot of very interesting applications. So this is kind of a lame one. But yeah, going forward, we will definitely see all of that. So that's it for this video, folks. And I will see you soon with another very interesting video. So see ya.